Are up. We should be live. All right, folks, welcome to Gamcast for unbelievably Tuesday evening. Folks, I got a bombshell for you. They've got a plan that they're going to try to jail Trump. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But before they get to that, the injunction madness, the Democrats, they have no idea. They are on the speed train to crazy town here. Okay, so remember the last couple of days we were saying, oh, there's no problem. They're only talking about making him spend the money. Well, we're now up to 8 injunctions. Here a judge orders Trump to reestablish HHS, CDC, and FDA web pages. Okay, that ain't about payment, folks. That is about telling the executive how to run the business. Now, Trump has suggested, as I said yesterday, that maybe he shouldn't agree to these. Well, here's AOC saying sort of the same thing. Not as to district courts binds you to the Supreme Court. Take a listen.
There has been thought, I believe, given to this. Senator Ron Wyden has already issued statements, for example, advising what we should do in a situation like this, which I concur, which is that I believe that the Biden administration should ignore this ruling. I think that
should ignore the Supreme Court. Folks, now let me explain how this crazy towns this is. No one disagrees, whether you do it or not, Jacksonian moment, hey, you've made your decision, I'm not going to enforce it. No one disagrees the Supreme Court has the right to tell somebody what to do, okay? No question about that. Now, these inferior courts, I want you to know, there wasn't a nationwide injunction in this country until 1963. The idea was unheard of. Now, Democrats are using lawfare. It's crazy towns, okay? But they're willing to go further, all right? So I already said defy the Supreme Court, so what's wrong with defying lower courts, especially a district court? We're not even talking about a court of appeals. There are 13 of them. Here's the bombshell, folks. Listen to Pocahontas just this morning. Take a listen.
Trump isn't actually the guy who puts in the orders and cuts people's paychecks. There's somebody else in the system who does that. And they're a click down from Donald Trump and a click down from that and a click down from that. And when a federal court issues an order and then gets people in front of them and says, you either follow that order or find yourself in contempt.
Boom, there it is. Find yourself in contempt. Now, admittedly, she's talking about lower officers, but the same logic applies to Trump. Yesterday, if you go back to yesterday's video, I'll put a link in there if you're on Rumble or YouTube, and if you are, please subscribe. You'll see the defendants in this case, in the New York case, are Trump, Besson, the Secretary of Treasury, and the Department of the Treasury. What she's literally saying, folks, is haul people up. Hey, I told you to do this. Trump says, I'm going to defy you. I'm not doing it. He or she says, okay, well, you're now in contempt of court. And I can tell you, folks, I've done this. I practiced law for 3 decades. They can bring you in. You have to show willfulness. It can't be negligent, but what could be more willful than saying, I'm not going to follow your orders? That's pretty darn willful. And if they find that, she's admittedly only saying lower figures today, but she absolutely, the logic would apply to Trump. Now, this is crazy town, folks. Absolute crazy town, but that's where they are. Here's Abby Phillip. I want you to listen to this. One of the reasons they're crazy, they never hear anybody disagrees with them. And when they do, they think they're morons. Take a listen.
When the court says Congress appropriated this money, you must unfreeze it while we litigate this. Why can't Trump comply with that?
Because the judge is running the executive branch, but he'll explain.
You're saying that a judge should decide how and when money is spent
a judge is saying,
for years, and not the president of the United States?
Let me explain
You're a governor.
When the court says Congress,
all right, it glitched. Anyway, she basically says, let me explain to you slowly, as if he doesn't understand. These people are crazy. They're going to try to jail Trump. If you enjoyed this, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you do, you'll see me on the next one.